If you're releasing music in 2025, you've probably run into at least one of these problems. You drop a track and barely anyone hears it. You spend hours producing but feel invisible online. And worst of all, you've no idea how to stand out in the sea of over 100,000 songs uploaded to Spotify every day. And I guess the sad truth is that just releasing music isn't enough anymore. So let's break down the 3 biggest issues that are holding producers back. And then I'm going to show you some artists that are doing it right so that you can see how to do it for yourself. So let's start with the obvious one. You drop a track and then after a few days it seems to kind of disappear. You might get a few reposts, but then it's a bit silent. For self-releasing artists, this can be really normal. And record labels can help, but even then it's not always guaranteed that you're going to gain loads of streams. So when we're releasing music, we have to remember that dropping a song without a plan is kind of like putting a message in a bottle, throwing it in the ocean, and just hoping that someone picks it up. We need to create context and anticipation for that song, otherwise it's just going to sink. So before you release your next song, make sure you map out a plan. And I can simply start with a concept, about what the song's about. What's the vibe? Is there a message you're trying to get across? And then you can make some content for socials that reflects that message and that vibe. There's loads of different type of content that you can do. I'm actually going to do a separate video which talks about this in a little bit more detail. You can do some simple studio clips. You can do some storytelling carousels. Some people write a little bit what the song's about in the caption. You can make Ableton tutorials. You could create a mix series on YouTube and then repost that on socials. Or you could bring some humor in and make some comedy type reels. But we don't just want to stop at content. We want to push this out to more people without always relying on an algorithm. You can send your music to local DJs, you can upload them to local radio stations or bigger radio stations like BBC Introducing. I know that's mainly for the UK. You can create a mailing list and send them out your unreleased tracks, some music recommendations, and really take care of that core fan base. And one really cool way to cut through is to include your community in your process. So you can post snippets of multiple songs on your socials. You can even show them multiple song names or the artwork that you've created and ask them to choose which ones they like best. People like to feel connected to you as an artist as well as just your music. So by including your audience in your process, you can build that strong connection with them. The second problem most producers face is that you might be making really great music, but online it sometimes feels like no one really sees you. And this one isn't really a music issue, this is more of a branding and visibility issue. And for this I often think that a song without branding is like a product without any packaging. I'm usually drinking Coke Zero, and this is not an ad for Coke Zero at all, and they're not sponsoring this video, but imagine if this was just a silver can and it had absolutely nothing on, no branding, nothing. I don't know whether it would quite be the same thing. Would it appeal to everyone and would it have the same feel? I'm not too sure. Still tastes good though. And the problem with this in music is that people scroll past you online because they're not too sure what you stand for or what vibe you're trying to create. And branding isn't just about a logo, it's about your tone, your visuals, your message. It's thinking about what you as an artist and what your music represents. And then you build that into a vibe that you can distribute across all the different aspects of your music project. So we've talked about how you get the best out of a release, and when we're thinking about branding, we're trying to take one step back and look at it from a bigger perspective. And you want to build your entire project in a similar way as you would with the track. You want a core message and a feeling that you can apply to your music, your visuals, your tone, and you can bring that into everything you post online. There's 2 producers that do this really well. The Youth nails this with his People's DJ identity. People know him for the DJ that gets into the crowd and includes the audience in everything that he does. And it matches his music really well. It's melodic house, but it's got a bit of a pop edge when it comes to his lyrics. So it's emotional, but it's uplifting, and it all ties in together. Nora En Pure as well. She does the same thing with her nature concept. Her music includes organic sounds, and then her branding is all about the environment that she loves. So both these artists have brands that are really cohesive. It's really clear what message they're giving across, and that means it's so much easier for the audience to connect with them. So to solve this issue, it's really thinking about what you stand for as an artist and what vibe are you trying to create. And then it's looking at how do you bring that into your music, into your visuals, into your tone, into your messaging online. And if you do that, people start to engage with you a little bit more. And finally, this is a big one. How do you actually stand out amongst all the different producers in 2025? We looked at single releases, then we took a step back and had to think about branding, and now we're going to look even bigger. Being a producer in 2025 is now like building a city, not just building a house. Your song is a house, but your city is everything around it. It's your story, your content, your vibe, and your community. Branding is just one piece of this, but the ecosystem that you create is what makes people stay. So for this, we need to think a little bit more long term. We want to start something that fans want to keep coming back to. It could be a recurring mix series on YouTube. It could be a specific visual theme that you have, or a community type project. It's basically something that's unique about you that separates you from everyone else. And then you got to stick at it for long enough and keep showing people what you're about until eventually your audience will get that message and you'll own that space. Let's go back to Leif's identity of being the people's DJ. He didn't just do that once. Every single gig he gets into the crowd, to the point where if you went to see Youth now and he didn't get in the crowd, you'd probably be a bit confused and you'd probably be a bit gutted. He then shares those moments online, so anyone that wasn't at his gig will understand that that's what he's about. He named his last album About Us, which is a very community focused title, and he even gets professional photos of him in the crowd surrounded by his fans, and then prints that onto t-shirts and sells that as his merch line. And Nora En Pure does exactly the same thing. It's not just her songs and the artwork that take inspiration from the environment, it's also the locations she chooses for her mixed series on YouTube. It's the travel reels and carousels that she posts online. And her record label Purify takes it one step further by collaborating with organizations that are trying to protect the environment and the oceans. So you can see both these artists have taken their vibe and they've created that into an ecosystem which their audience can engage with, and that's what makes these artists stand out. So this sounds like a lot, and I really like to simplify things, and I made a video recently that you can check out now if you want to discover a little bit about how you find out what you do stand for and the kind of things you do want to share online as part of your branding. If you like this video, then come join my channel and I'll see you next time.